Dr. Chevy, a producer of ABCShrink, and this broadcast is part of Generation Quarantine, and we are doing Reopen Schools USA. And with me is co-producer Ilana Weinstein. Hey, Ilana.
Hey, Dr. Chevy, are you ready for this?
Oh, I don't know if we're ever going to handle all of this, but we've got a bunch of awesome dads here and wives of dads and an awesome teacher here. And so I would just want to introduce you all. If you could just say your name and the movement you're with, and then people can continue on and watch this podcast after. Why don't we just start with, let's start at East Coast first. Eric, can you introduce yourself and say your movement and how long you've been involved?
Of course. My name is Eric Hartman. I'm a dad of two. I live in Westchester, New York. And I've actually been involved in this in the summer. I was an early adopter. Our group is called Westchester Parents for Open Schools, but you can find me on Twitter. My name is spelled a little differently. I'm easy to find, actually. But we've been advocating. We were kind of advocating by ourselves, and we've gotten connected into the national group. And it's actually really awesome being connected to everybody across the country with like minds to protect and keep our children from being harmed anymore by these crazy people.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Eric. We're going to continue with East Coast. Rob, you started, then you can introduce the Thomases. How's that?
Hello, everybody. Yeah, my name is Rob Volpe, father of two. My wife, Caitlin, is on this call as well. We started a group back in July, working families advocacy in Leominster, Massachusetts. So we have now taken on another challenge, myself and Mr. Thomas, called Keep Massachusetts Schools Open. And we just started probably 2 weeks ago with kind of the phase 2 of the project, keep them open.
Excellent. You can introduce your other musketeer, Rob? Or did he jump out? Okay.
No, Thomas.
Oh,
My
yeah.
wife, Greg.
I didn't know. Yeah, I was
I don't know who I talk to more now.
Are we going to Caitlin or Greg? I guess I'll just assume me. But so I'm Greg. I work with Rob on a lot of the projects. The biggest thing that I want to just advocate for is with fathers and getting involved. I think that dads have a strong instinct to protect innocent kids, whatever. And if you don't think that they're not being protected right now, you're sorely mistaken. And there a lot of guys can get in there and really support and fight for the kids, and we need all the help we can get. Our group, as Rob said, Keep Massachusetts Schools Open. We're focused on kind of a long-term strategy. Now that we have our schools open, we want to help other people, whether you're in another state, another city. We'll teach you what has worked for us. We've continued to develop relationships and know what works and all the mistakes we've made along the way. And we're here to help, and we're here to support local candidates or other states that are running for school committee that has like-minded beliefs, and work together to help one another and share resources around that. So thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Introduce your wives, please.
This is my wife, Angela. She's been amazing through all this, supportive. She's actually taken on the special education pack that we have in a town as well. So all these ladies have been extremely involved and supportive as well. So
My wife, Caitlin, again, we started this movement back in July out of frustration. She is now tackling a new project. Maybe she can talk about it a little more. We're finding that a lot of kids have something to say, but they're not saying it. So we're trying to set up art throughout the city where they can not necessarily verbalize how they feel, but paintings throughout the city so you can't miss it. When you're driving through the center of town, boom, you see it. So Caitlin can talk a little about that.
Okay, Caitlin?
Hi, it's Caitlin Volpe, Rob's wife. So we started the Leominster Working Parents Advocacy back in July when we realized that schools were not going to be opening in September. It's been a fight ever since. We've been talking to the school committee, signing on to all the school committee meetings, just trying to make a ruckus, basically making our presence known, as I say. Rob's been diving into the dads thing. I'm going to be starting with what he just mentioned, the art that we're going to be putting up in the center of Leominster shortly. I'm working with another one of our members from Leominster Working Parents Advocacy. We're going to be making little meetings and having kids draw out their feelings and even adults draw out their feelings about what's going on with this whole mess. And we want to just make it just a big stand just so that everybody can see how affected the city of Leominster is being by all of this mess. So that's that.
Thank you very much.
And just one quick build, we're calling it seen, not heard, because we've been heard and I don't know if it's falling on deaf ears or not. So it's more of a, you're gonna see us, you're not gonna hear us.
Okay, great. Well, then we have the West Coast. You want to introduce yourself, say the name of your movements, and you can just let people know you'll be back. Kevin, you're going to be back next week. And Angela, next week is special education.
Okay,
Would you like to join us?
that'd be wonderful. Could you send Greg the information?
Absolutely. And Kevin is going to be from California, will be on that show too. And anyone else that wants to talk about kids and special education. So Kevin, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I started the movement for opening special education. One of the board members really wanted to open it. Nobody was supporting her. So we started supporting it. We got special education open in November. It still took a long time. You know, we really wanted it open right away, but hey, we got it open in November. And then from there, they asked me to really help out with the larger efforts to open the schools in Chino Valley. And we are open full-time in person starting next month. We are in hybrid right now, all grades, 5 days a week, actually in school, which is awesome. We're really excited about this. The parents that still fear and do not want their kids in school do have a choice of distance learning still. So I think our district has a good balance of both, because if you want to stay home, you can, or if you want to be in school, you can be in school full-time 5 days. I'm a huge proponent of the charter schools because my one daughter is in a charter school and it's just been amazing being in that charter school, because there's so much more parent involvement in the charter schools than there is in the public schools. And so we had a lot more push on that side, and why the charter school was open and got their waiver way quicker. And then the San Diego lawsuit, which I know that Todd will talk about, you know, the Parent Association doing the lawsuit in San Diego and forcing basically the California, you know, health to actually have to justify why they shut down our schools and shut them down with these crazy regulations, you know, in January, you know, was nuts. And they basically couldn't prove it. And so now it's allowing all of the schools in California to start opening. And a lot of the board members, because of the Parent Association, are kind of fearful of the bad press and are actually opening. You know, it's, you know, slow going, but at least they're opening hybrid, you know, which before they weren't even having the conversations with their parents at all, or the teachers. They were literally just not talking to anybody.
Right. Well, thank you. As a Californian, I really appreciate the work of everybody, the trailblazers from the East Coast to the West. But thank you so much, Kevin, for speaking up. And can you just say in maybe 6 words, Reopen California Schools? That's an organization that was started by Jonathan Zackerson and
yes, it's got it. Jonathan, yeah, and so we got involved with them, so we kind of attached ourselves to that, and then the Parent Association got involved with Jonathan's effort too, so they were all partnering together. So I think the big thing we learned here was we needed to part all the groups together, get everybody partnering together. I wish we would have done it sooner, you know. I wish Todd, Jonathan, everybody would have gotten together like, I don't know, 6 months ago, right? I think the hard part was just the not knowing who was ready to go back and who wasn't. I think until they put all those maps out, they found out what all the schools in California and then in the whole United States that were open, made everybody go like, oh my God, most of the US is open. Oh my God, a lot of the California schools are actually open, because parents didn't know.
right. Okay, we're gonna to continue on for our little brief intro. Let's do Todd, can you tell us about the name of the 2 movements you're attached to?
Sure. Todd Madison. I'm in North San Diego County, Oceanside. I've been involved with schools for about a decade now on the inside. But I think a couple of great points have been touched on here. So first, I'm a member of the Parent Association. They're the group that Kevin had mentioned. We've pressed a lawsuit against the state of California and won, forcing them to declare that their restrictions were arbitrary and not enforceable. And so hopefully a lot of districts now are using that as leverage to get their schools open for our kids. But
Excellent. And that's with pro bono lawyer Scott Davis. We thank you so much.
yes, it's basically parents in a district that got together and volunteered their time to do it. Absolutely. Ginny Merrifield and Scott Davison were essential, as were 20 or 30 other parents that were all involved, too numerous to name. But two things that we need to take away from this. First, the Parent Association, our main function is not necessarily to force the schools to be open, but to generate parent input, parent advocacy. We need parents, now that they're paying attention, to keep paying attention. So when this is all done, when our kids are all going back to school like normal, we can't forget. We need to remember what happened here, and we need to make sure that we're involved with our schools so that it doesn't happen again. That's where the School Choice Foundation comes in. I'm the San Diego County Chair for the School Choice Foundation. And in that, we're trying to address the fundamental cause of this, the fact that parents are not allowed to choose what education works best for their kids. So if or when this happens again in the future, instead of just being able to say, you do what you want with your kids, I'm going to do what I want with my kids, we're forced to take a very limited range of options. So, parent involvement, keep it up. School choice. Those are the two things. We solved the problem. Thanks.
Excellent. So Todd,